All right, so we have another TCM patch here to go over, and this one's a doozy. It might be their biggest patch yet in terms of the changes it's making to the game. And this one says it is due out to come out September 26th at roughly 2 p.m. Eastern US time. So let's go over the notes because there's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of big changes, and we need to talk about it. First is fixed the Hitchhiker trap exploit, where they fixed an exploit where Hitchhiker players could use his trap to pass through walls and doors. I actually had never seen this. I'd never seen this on the families. I've never seen it. I haven't seen it playing family or victim in well over 100 hours. So, good that it got fixed, though. I'm glad it got fixed, and it's cool that I never had to deal with it. Fixed Hitchhiker trap interaction issues. We resolved an issue where victims would be unable to interact with gaps, crawl spaces, and other elements after stepping in a Hitchhiker trap. This is massive because you were starting to get a ton of Hitchhiker players that would abuse this exploit and put it at the top of stairs so that it would bug people out on purpose. And we're getting into this really annoying thing now, and both sides do it. Victim players do it too. Family players do it as well. This war of like, well, the other side, uses this, so that means it's okay for me to use this. And I hate that. I think that sucks. I don't participate in that. And so it's kind of annoying that we basically have to go through and fix all of these things, because in an ideal world, hitchhikers just wouldn't do this because they'd know that it's cheating, it's dirty, it's a, shady tactic. I never did it. I'm a Hitchhiker main. He's my favorite family member to play. And I never trapped at the top of stairs, at least so far as when I was aware. I don't even think I did it even when I was unaware of this issue, because I just don't like trapping at the top of stairs. It's not how I enjoy placing his traps. So anyway, this is an awesome fix. Thank you for fixing this, because this was really annoying and I was running into it quite often as a victim player. Fix Johnny and Sissy lunge. Johnny and Sissy both had a lunge that was greater than other family members. We've adjusted this to be more in line with the rest of the family members. This should also correct the Johnny build we're seeing used in public matches. Good. I didn't notice it as much on Sissy, but Johnny, it was a serious issue, and it was being promoted by certain big streamers as well, where basically, if you watched my Johnny build video yesterday, I touched on it briefly. I didn't talk about like what it was or how to do it. I just said that there was a bug there, and what it was is he could run and swing, and as he was swinging, he would lunge really far forward, and it basically give him like a massive speed boost, which was really crazy. So I'm glad that got fixed. Fixed a brightness cheat. Fixed an issue that would allow PC users to adjust their in-game brightness outside of accepted levels by in-game files. I have always hated people who mess with files to accomplish something they're not supposed to be able to accomplish, to give themselves an in-game advantage. I always hated stretched res on DBD when that was a thing. I hate that people use the NVIDIA stuff to put filters on their game in DBD so that they could see survivors more easily. And I hate that people do it in this game. I don't participate in that, like I said. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going to do much. I imagine it's good that it got fixed. I don't want to sound like, oh, why'd they do this? Thank you for fixing it. It's good that it got fixed. However, I'm just saying that, people who care that much, who sweat that hard, are probably just going to use the NVIDIA filter and go through and change their filters that way. But I'm still glad it got fixed. Changed Hitchhiker traps at ladder exits. We have adjusted the area on top of a ladder where the Hitchhiker could place a trap. This still allows for strategic play, but will give victims an opportunity to counter the trap. I don't like I'm 50-50 on this change, actually, because the only issue with putting a trap at the top of the ladders was the fact that if you stepped in it, it caused you to bug out and not be able to use gaps and crawl spaces and wells. That was the main issue. I don't think I necessarily had an issue with trapping at the top of ladders. But I could see why they'd be like, we don't want you to have the ability to just completely deny certain exits by putting a trap there that, forces you to step in it with the animation. But what does worry me about this change is the potential that maybe they're going to say, like, we don't want this to happen anywhere. And so the first thing that comes to mind is like, maybe they're going to not allow you to trap like outside the window at family house. And that would kind of suck. But this change is whatever. It's, I'm iffy on it, but it's fine. Here's a big one. Fuse box reset. The family can now turn the fuse box off after a victim turns it on. If I have to mute for a second, it's because I'm still a little bit sick. There's a cooldown applied to the switch, similar to generators and car batteries. I don't like this change, and I'll tell you why. I think that it's not going to... It's going to be bad either way. It's going to be bad whether it benefits the family or doesn't. If it doesn't benefit the family, then it's a case where you're only able to turn it off like, 3 seconds quicker, 5 seconds quicker than you normally could anyway in the past, if you just let it completely run out. In which case, it's like a pointless change, and it doesn't do anything for the family. If you can turn it off much faster, that's a big problem because it has the potential to make it to where fuse box is not even an option anymore, because I'm worried about places like Slaughterhouse with the new fuse box spawn that spawns way on the backside of the shed near the water valve exit. I'm worried that it's going to get to the point where, like, you literally cannot escape from the fuse box exit. Like, I'm worried that whoever activates the fuse box, that the family members will be able to turn it off before it's even possible to reach the exit. That's what I'm worried about happening. I just have this gut feeling that that's going to wind up happening. I have this really bad feeling that that's what's going to wind up happening. Or alternatively, like I said, there's barely any difference. And, it's basically a change that does nothing for the family. So, and it would really suck if we got to the point where the one perk, Saboteur, I think it's called, it makes it so that the fuse box stays on longer. Stays on longer, that's going to become like a necessity to bring. And we don't need more of that. We don't need more perks where it's like, you got to bring this perk to have any chance of escaping. Because it already is starting to feel like that's kind of starting to happen with like Choose Flight. And same on the family side with Scout. It's starting to feel like you got to bring Choose Flight. You got to bring Scout. And I think that's an unhealthy thing for the game. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Family stun immunity. Hey! Family now has a 10-second stun immunity period after initial stun ends. There is no stun immunity after a family member is stunned by a victim bursting out of a hiding place. That's really funny to me because it's like they're trying to encourage you to use hiding spaces because nobody uses them. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity, you will not see the prompt for Leland's ability or a backstab. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity with a door slam, it will have no effect. Close encounters all vary in duration due to the individual family members having different stun recovery times. Therefore, the immunity period is different for each. I'm actually really happy about this. When I proposed the idea of stun immunity, I thought it should be 10 seconds. Like, some people were like, "Oh, don't make it too long. Make it only 5." Like, I'm pumped that it's 10. Because to me, as I said in one of my previous balance videos, the spirit of stunning a family member is supposed to be you stun them, and then you run away and break line of sight. That's what the mechanic is supposed to be. The mechanic is not supposed to be stunning somebody over and over again and stun locking them. Clearly it's meant to be a last ditch effort to stun them so that you could get away and hide. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to break chase. So I'm really excited about this. However, we got to talk about the second part of this, which is Taekwondo and the Leland ability stun duration. Taekwondo perk levels reduced to 5 seconds, 6 seconds, and 8 seconds at level 3. Now, I think the reason they did this is because they want both the Taekwondo perk and, by the way, Leland's ability stun duration has been nerfed. It doesn't say by how much. But I think both of those got nerfed because they're probably going to want both of those to be under 10 seconds. Because they want it to be that you get the 10-second stun immunity. So, like, if you stun somebody with Taekwondo, they'll be stunned for 8 seconds. And then maybe the stun immunity starts as soon as they get stunned. So essentially what that would mean is once they get up, they then have 2 seconds of stun immunity. I assume that's why it's under 10 seconds. If that's not the case, if it's that the stun immunity starts once they are no longer stunned, then there's no reason for this change. If anything, I think having a 10-second stun immunity means that stun time should have been increased. Because now you can't get chain stunned anymore. But especially with Taekwondo, like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I had so many people complaining about getting like door stunned over and over. Yes, I have seen and experienced like a Leland shoulder checking you and then shanking you in the back. I've seen that happen many times. But that's gone now. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. But like keeping somebody permanently stunned on a door, I saw it one time in my 100 hours, and it never happened to me. The one time it happened, it was to a teammate who was playing Leatherface, who was kind of a noob that was downstairs. And every time that somebody even tried to stun me with a door, it didn't even work. Like, it was so easy to just avoid getting stunned. If you know someone's going to go for the door stun, it's so telegraphed. And it's so easy to just like, you know, fake like you're going to go there and then do a circle. And now they just opened the door for you and you get a free hit off. Like I probably got stunned by a door overall, like less than 10 times in like, I don't even know how many dozens of hours of gameplay of Family. And it's not because I'm even that good either. So I don't know. The point is, out of all this, I don't know that Taekwondo really needed to be nerfed as long as there's stun immunity. Stun immunity needed to be added. I'm glad it was added. I don't know that you needed to nerf stun times on top of that. Especially Leland's, man. Like, the issue with Leland's ability was him shoulder checking somebody, them being stuck there, and then he gets a free backstab on top of that. That was the issue. You didn't want him to, like, chain stun people that way. Well, now he can't do it anymore. So why do you need to nerf his stun duration on top of that? I don't think it was necessary. Anyway, moving on. Agitator perk levels reduced. 1.5, 2, and 2.5 at level 3. Agitator, yeah, it needed to be nerfed. Honestly, I could see this perk getting nerfed again. To be completely honest. I could see this getting nerfed down to... Now, he already loses 1 level of family bond by default. So, I don't know how you would really change this perk, because you can't go lower than 1.5, or else it doesn't do anything at level 1. But I could see level 3 just being 2, to be honest with you. Like, this being lowered to 2, and maybe they lower this to 2 and add some sort of secondary effect. Because some perks do that. Maybe lower this to you lose 2 levels, but Grandpa is incapacitated for longer. Could do that. 2.5 still feels like that might be too much. So anyway, good nerf. Now here is the most controversial one that we really need to talk about. It's the last one. We saved the best for last. Stealth performance in minigames. We have adjusted the amount of noise generated in gathering minigames when at full stealth. What does that mean? The devs elaborated and said that they did not like the fact that if you put 40 points, or rather put enough points into stealth to get it to 40, that it meant you no longer made noise on any interaction. That's fair. That's a fair thing to say. It doesn't really make sense that there is no reason to put points into stealth past 40. It makes the last 10 points of that attribute irrelevant. That makes sense. However, what they have done is, and they explain this on Reddit and Twitter, is is that now they've made it to where even if you put your stealth all the way up to 50, you still cannot spam the interaction button. You will still make noise even at 50. And you have to be more careful even at 50. Their intended effect here is that even if you max out stealth, you still have to slow down and be careful. But there's multiple issues with this. First of all, this doesn't punish players who already play the game loudly. This only punishes players that were already playing stealthily. The only effect this is going to have is it's going to further punish or slow down players that were already playing slower. So it's not even punishing the group of players that they want to punish. So that's not good. In addition, the idea that we want to incentivize putting those last 10 points into stealth because now 50 points of stealth is weaker than 40 points of stealth was before this patch. All that's going to do is incentivize players to just not even bother with stealth. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Now the majority of players are just not going to bother putting any points in stealth and are just going to be loud right out the gate and just deal with it. It's also a huge nerf to stealth play styles, because even if you want to continue to play stealthy, that's now 10 more points you have to put into stealth, and that's 10 points taken away from another stat. So now you're made weaker because of that. So stealth players are being punished, and the loud players are not. They could just continue to do what they're doing. So this, I think, was kind of a poorly thought out adjustment. And I understand why they did it, because yes, it's dumb that you could just put, have your stealth at 40 and it makes the last 10 points irrelevant for that attribute. But I think the solution is more complex than this, unfortunately, if you want to incentivize stealth. Because as it is right now, the reason that people rush is because the more time you take, the more it hurts you as a victim. The more time you take, the more time it gives the family to set up, the more time it gives the family to feed grandpa, and the more time it gives family to get grandpa to level 5 and basically end the game. That's the main issue here, and that's why victims rush out so quickly. So to fix that, it would have to be a complete overhaul of several different systems. To incentivize people to slow down and play stealthily and not just run around like madmen, you would have to almost you'd have to increase the family's lethality so that if you got caught, it's more likely that you will die. You'd have to decrease how quickly they can level up grandpa. Like you'd have to make it like it takes 200 points of blood to level him up one level. So you'd have to do all these things. Like you'd have to make it way more punishing to even be hit or spotted by a family member. You'd have to make it way less punishing to play slowly so that they can't just level up grandpa super fast. Like there's a bunch of different changes that they'd have to make. And that's just probably not going to happen. They're probably just not going to do all that. It's probably just too much work. So I don't like, here's what I would do as the Band-Aid fix, which would be really simple. It still is not ideal. It still kind of sucks, but make it so that when you are at 50 stealth, you don't make any noise. So if the and make it have different break points from 40 to 50. So let's say if you have 40 stealth, you don't make any noise when you spam E on a bone scrap pile. If you have, 43 stealth, you don't make any noise when you open up the shutter on a crawl space. If you have 47 stealth, it means you don't make any noise when you get out of your restraints. If you have 50, then it means you don't make any noise when you're going through a toolbox to get an unlock tool. Something like that. So it's like there's breakpoints all along the way, and you get to decide, how far you want to go. And it's like, oh, well, maybe if you're playing, Connie, you want to get it all the way to 50 so that you don't make any noise because she's really squishy. If you're playing somebody who you're not really bothering so much with gathering the unlock tools, maybe you just want to get it to, the threshold where you don't make noise when you're gathering bone scrap, stuff like that. But I think it's going to ultimately have the opposite intended effect, unfortunately. What you're going to wind up seeing is everyone's just going to play even louder than before. They're going to play even louder. They're going to play even faster. They're going to wake up family even quicker, or grandpa even quicker. And I think that that's unfortunate. And it's going to take a complete overhaul of so many different systems to actually slow the game down if that's their intention. So there you go. There's the new patch. Let me know what you think. It's a whole lot of bug fixes and nerfs and things like that. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Let me know what you think. I got lots of thoughts on like where the game is heading, but maybe that should be in a separate video that just talks about like, balance and things like that, and the philosophy of this game and how balanced it should be. But let me know what you think on each of these. I'll do a quick recap before we go. Fixed Hitchhiker trap exploit, good. Fixed Hitchhiker trap interaction issues, good. Fixed Johnny and Sissy lunge, good. Fixed brightness cheat, good. Fixed Hitchhiker traps at ladder exits, Changed fuse box reset, skeptical. Family stun immunity, awesome. Taekwondo perk levels reduced, probably not necessary. Agitator perk levels reduced, great. Stealth performance in mini games, don't like it. Leland ability stun duration nerf, don't like it. There you go. Let me know what you think. I just wanted to make it clear exactly what I feel on each thing, because half the time when I make a video, I'll say like, oh man, I love that they added 10 seconds of family stun immunity, and somebody be like, get a load of this victim main. It's like, dude, I said that I liked the thing that benefits family in the video. What are you talking about? I want to make it clear. And sometimes I'll even have people be like, "Do you hear what Sledge said? He said that family shouldn't have stun immunity." And I'm like, no, I didn't. I said I loved it. What are you talking about? So I want to make it clear exactly how I feel about each thing. So once again, let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next one.